How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us here. Miss Susan, we're ready to roll. We're on the air. We got the excellent company of Mr. Dexter Borden. Now, before we go to our first break, Mr. Borden, welcome.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, listen, if you don't mind me saying, the hat and you, man, handsome fella. We're going to have some fun today. We're going to talk about a lot of things, and with Mr. Borden's consent and with his, input, we're going to cover a lot of subjects, right?
Okay.
All right. So please stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email Talk Today at candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thanks so much for joining us. And it's, I say this sometimes and I wonder, when you have an opportunity to do something that you enjoy, that you get to benefit from it as well. It's excellent. I sit here humble every day, very appreciative, excited, nervous many times, but to come away after each show feeling as if you learned something. Hopefully, provided an avenue that could have served of some value to people, maybe made a contribution.
Absolutely.
Today,
I think you do that.
Well, thank you for that prayer, that encouragement. It means a lot. I think too many of us think too highly of ourselves that, with the greatest respect, as I heard a pastor say one time, some of us are so heavenly bound we know earth the good. I don't mean that in any which way other than the way it sounds, right? But when I see someone like you, your creative, artistic talent to listen to the song, of all of the things I've heard you play and sing, whether it's a cover from some of the great country artists or whether it's the original piece, The Goldfield, that one in particular resonates with maybe all of us. That is an amazing, amazing song.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, man. As we start, let me ask you, if you're comfortable, share with us a little bit about who you are so people understand, because you have an incredible story. I mean, now Miss Susan wants me to. Should I put the mics closer to him or have Mr. Dexter come closer to the mics? Yeah, she wants to see you better. I think she
wants to see me better.
Yeah, she said you're handsome. I don't know if I go that far, but we'll get it to work with you, man. Thank you again for sharing the afternoon with us. For those who are listening, you know what? If we don't listen, we don't learn. If we don't learn, we cannot share. So, Mr. Borden, as you want. Who is Dexter Borden?
Well, I guess I'm a Caymanian, born and raised to Caymanian parents and go back many generations, and I'm 61 years old, and
What, original from Georgetown?
Born and raised in Georgetown,
Not
yes.
too far. I don't know what directions. In the studio somewhere. I don't even know where the glass house is in relation to where I'm at. But somewhere here.
Georgetown, yeah. And I guess I grew up in Dog City. or that's where I was raised. And I guess I attended Truth View School and left the islands when I was about 23, 24 years old and moved to the U.S. and lived there for maybe, from 1983, 84, 1980 actually, till 2010 when I moved back to Cayman.
Yeah. How did you come to music?
I guess it's something that came to me from the time I was an infant,
Mm-hmm.
and my mother used to tell stories about me being 3 or 4 years old, and I was able to sing along with the records that she played on, And
It's something that I think many of us can think back to, whether it was the radio or for those that had a record player and a record at home, and we would sing now. Thankfully, you have that gifting and that voice. I tried singing, and I believe it was better if I even just sang it in my head, not loudly. It didn't sound good.
Yeah.
But you have, if you don't mind me saying, I mean, you have a phenomenal gift, and you have an exceptional voice.
Well, thank you very much, but I'm not sure if it could be attributed to a gift. I personally,
that's my
believe,
word. Yeah, okay.
I personally believe that anyone that finds an interest in any subject or vocation, that if they pursue it and they practice at it and stay at it for years, they should become proficient and be good at it.
Well, I subscribe to that as well. You may have
Yeah.
an interest, you may have, some may say, an innate ability, even a competitive advantage. But if you don't put effort into it, rehearse, practice, prepare, you're not going to get better. I mean, I've seen that with guys playing football that I think were exceptional. But they were lazy. They wouldn't put any effort in. They wouldn't want to come to training. When they train, they may as well have been, sleeping in bed because they did nothing. They didn't improve. Then there were guys like me who tried hard and got a little bit better, but weren't that good.
Right.
But you put in effort. But you've been at it, honing your craft, and it's been, it's boded well for you.
Well, thank you very much, Sterling.
No, man. I like the fact that we have people like you who recognize that you want something, you have to sacrifice. You want something, you have to work hard. And hopefully, as a country, as we mature, we respect the differences. We respect, the ways we're like. We respect our people, and we celebrate our people, not just because it's the anniversary or something, not just because it's a particular occasion, but because it's our people. But we also hold us to an exacting standard as well.
Mm-hmm.
Country music versus calypso versus classical versus whatever. Is there a favorite for Dexter Borden?
Honestly, yeah. Ever since I'm growing up, my mother and I guess most of the people around the neighborhood played country music most of the time, and there was the potential for influences, with Caribbean music and calypso, reggae, and all of that sort of stuff. Well, that was soca hadn't come along when I was growing up.
That's still new.
But there was always that, and I am I guess interested and I like a lot of that stuff as well. But my preference is country.
Yeah, I tell people sometimes, you think back. I mean, for me, on the stub, Merle Haggard, Hank Williams Sr. I remember that my parents playing it.
Right.
I actually know some of the songs to this day. They told a story.
Absolutely.
And I look at calypso, similar. It tells a story. It talks about things that are happening in a particular society or a particular part of the world.
Yeah.
And, whether you're listening to Sparrow or you get a chance to listen to some of the other greats, you listen intently. They're commenting on something that is happening. Just like country music.
Yeah.
It isn't always good if you play it backwards, but it is amazing what it tells you.
Yeah.
Maybe it's changed somewhat now. But it's still good. Of all the greats, then and now, favorites for Dexter Borden?
When it comes to country, Merle Haggard always has been and always will be. And in fact, this guitar I'm holding here has an autograph on it that he autographed for me.
Wow. Susan, can you, at some point? No, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that's
the
Merle Haggard autograph.
A genuine Merle Haggard autograph.
And it is a very interesting story how I came about that. Because I was living in Nashville, and I went up to Portland, Tennessee to spend a weekend with some friends. It was Memorial Day weekend, and there was a concert scheduled in Westmoreland, Tennessee, which is a little town just outside of Portland, and it was actually in the woods, a place called Countrywood Amphitheater. Okay, and we got tickets to go, and I told Tommy I'd just gotten the guitar. I bought the guitar in 1986. This is 1989, and so I had the guitar with me at Tommy's, and I told him, I said, I'm going to take that white guitar and get Merle to autograph it. He said, man, you crazy. You can't get Merle to autograph. I said, you watch.
You watch.
So we went to the show, and it was actually out in the woods. The only structure, the only building on the property was a little cabin with a front porch, and that was the stage. Everybody else brought their own chairs, blankets, or whatever, and sat on the ground under all the trees in the woods.
Wow.
And Merle came out and he did an awesome show, and I waited for the encore, and I knew the song, so at the end, the song was about to end, I started heading toward the back of the little cabin, and as they started ushering him out the back to go to the limousine, I was going through the crowd with this white guitar. I'm the only black guy in the whole place, I believe.
No.
And I'm going through the crowd with this white guitar, and I'm trying to get his attention as he's going out the walkway with the security, and he looked over at me, and I said, Mr. Haggard, would you please? And he just nodded his head once and went to the limo, and security cleared a path for me to get through.
Wow.
And I walked up and handed him the Sharpie and the guitar. And he said, where you want me to sign it? I said, wherever you want to.
1989.
1989.
And this is 2019.
Yeah.
And Memorial Day is May, I think, when they celebrate in the U.S.
It was in May, yeah.
So you think, wow, timely.
Yeah.
That's a few years ago.
Yeah.
I was still a young fellow. Might even be considered handsome here.
Yeah.
But there's something about country music and country artists. I remember listening to Mr. Loxley Banks. He had interviewed Johnny Cash, had come down, and we know he does his interviews. He's interviewing him. There's the broadcast on Radio came on, and I'm listening to it, and we're talking. And my perception of, I guess my recollection of listening to it, here is somebody who is at that time the height of his career. I mean, seemingly, and as humble, as down to earth, as just at ease in our studio talking to our people, as if you and I were here chatting. And there's something about not just the artist, but what the island came on in particular, and country music is. It seems they go hand in glove.
Absolutely.
But for that budding musician who's listening, I mean, with great respect to that parent who has that young child who's thinking of, I want to pursue music. I can see in some instances parents are saying, get a real job. I mean, yeah, you can play the guitar, the violin, whatever it is, but you need a house to fall back on.
Right.
Way back when you were getting started, that probably was it more difficult than it is now? Would that advice now be different than what it was then? What would you say to the parent when it asks to the child, well, what should I do?
Well, if the child shows interest.
Has some ability.
Right, yeah. Well, I guess you have to support the child and and try to guide them and that's all I can suggest.
All right. Well, I guess the parents saying, support the child. No, the child is a big boy. Get a job. Support yourself. No, I just kidding. No, but it's something about it.
Were they to, get to the point where they're proficient enough for people to be willing to pay them for performance, then it's a very, I guess, lucrative business to be in.
Did you know you wanted to be a musician? That would be your livelihood? Because it's not probably as easy as people think it is. I mean,
no, it isn't.
It
isn't, man.
You think of it. God forbid you get an illness. You can't perform as well. Yeah. We've seen musicians who've had, in order to honor their concert dates, and you can tell when they're under the weather. Yeah. Right? You not only hear it, you can see it in the energy.
Absolutely.
But things happen. I mean, some promoters aren't as honorable and they may stiff you. I mean, things happen, right?
Yeah.
That's your livelihood. But you've always wanted to be a musician?
I guess it's always been a case where I just got to sing. I just got to sing.
Some people got to talk, some people got to sing.
I got to sing.
Oh, man. But singing, what is singing then meant for you? What did it do for you? Not just the financial part, not just the publicity, but was it therapy? Was it?
It is very much therapeutic. Yeah, cathartic, all that. Yeah, man. And it's one thing that whenever I'm I guess down in the dumps, I pick up my guitar and it changes my whole disposition.
With that, then, as you pick up your guitar, is it that someone want to compose something? There's some lyrics, some words that are there, or is it a song more haggard, for instance?
No, yeah, most of the time it's just to play. I remind myself of someone else's experience. Yeah.
And that's the beautiful part I see with the arts, whether it's music, whether it's poetry. The people who would embrace it. I've got friends who write poetry, who write short stories,
right.
and they have a journal, something that they record. And sometimes you go back 20, 30 years later and you realize what this person wrote or recorded, and you see a great vision in it. It may not have been as evident then, but for us to capture that, to be able to look to people like you and say, like Mr. Dami and some of the songs that he recorded, and we can have them today, and in 100 years from today, the Beethovens and the other greats that we celebrate in whatever genre, why are we not doing the same with the Dexter Bordens and the Dwayne Ebankses, just as an example? Hopefully we'll respect that. When we come back from our break, invite you as you wish, share us with some song.
Okay.
Would you let me, if it's not a great imposition, to delve into that great insight of yours, and let's challenge the populace with respect to some of the things that are happening locally and globally.
Absolutely.
Talk about some of the issues. If you're up for it,
absolutely,
I'll try to keep up. All right. Dexter Borden's in the studio. Susan's on the other end of the line, 949-8837, 949-6990. If you call, she'll answer. If she decides you sound good, she'll put you to the studio. If we like what you say, we'll talk. Nah, if you just call, we answer. We don't even bother to even screen it. You give us a shout. We want to hear from you. Please stay tuned for Talk Today.
At Powerhouse Gym, where you feel like home in a multicultural energy environment for all. They are dedicated to helping you achieve your fitness goals. Whether you have decided to get in shape, train for a specific sport, boost your energy levels, or even look your best for a special day. With a variety of sports options, group fitness classes, CrossFit outdoor gym, they provide personal trainers and equipment. Powerhouse Gym, King Sports Center, offers a complete health and recreational environment for the only sports and recreational facility of its kind in the Cayman Islands. For more information, call 946-5464. Email kings@candw.ky or visit www.kingsportscenter.com. Powerhouse Gym, King Sports Center. Serious results, period. Brand Source is putting a spin on spring cleaning with 20% off all washers and dryers from GE, Samsung, LG, and Frigidaire. Take a load off by making laundry easier, quicker, and energy efficient with 20% off all washers and dryers. Save now on laundry appliances from GE, Samsung, LG, and Frigidaire. Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Call 623-5000. Sale ends this Saturday.
Headlines.
With the latest headlines.
Headlines.
All the news when you want it. Tune in to Radio Cayman for hourly headlines of the day's top stories.
One of Cayman's bright and shining young stars.
Local, regional, international.
Headlines.
Turning to international news. Updates on the hour between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. on weekdays. Radio Cayman News.
Headlines.
Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. In the studio, the great company of Dexter Borden. And if you were tuning in expecting to hear me sing or play the guitar, sort of disappoint you. No, that's not going to happen because we like our listeners. In fact, our ad says we love our listeners. We want to keep them. We're going to leave the singing to those who are talented and the guitar playing to those who have that gift in Dexter Borden. I think you fit the bill quite well.
Well, thank you.
As we look at music now, we're going to get into it. I think back to whether it's the songs the slaves would sing in order to communicate a message, whether it's the folk songs and the protests of wars or whatever it is, there's a way that music gets a message. I think to some of the calypso songs, whether it's the soca like, the Mighty Gabby talking about the beach access, relevant then in Barbados as it is now in Cayman. The same sort of thing. We see in Florida, for instance, similar issues with beach access, or whether it's protests and talking about political and economic challenges. music can convey a message, can challenge, can actually even sometimes chastise if we embrace it.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Right.
Well, let's hear about Dexter Borden. What would you, if you could, with music, and you have an audience and you were going to be putting out something through music, your political manifesto, so to speak, what would the songs be like? What would they?
Well, I've got songs that I've written that probably people probably would not associate with me because of I guess it probably wouldn't be classified as country actually.
Well, that's fine. That's fine.
And but I have songs about working for money that you can't keep,
mm-hmm.
and the fact is everybody seems to be looking for a way to have the money work for them,
mm-hmm.
and a few of the people get it to work that way, but not most of us. And
well, let's pick up on it in a second. Let me ask you, just hold a second. We got a caller join us in the studio. Dexter Borden joins us. We got about 3 headsets down there. Pick up one that works. Let me see if Rooster sent us over a working headset. No. As you go to our phones, if they fit your head, sir, you put them on and we'll join this caller. For those who are listening, 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Let's see if that works, and now we'll give you another one. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Kind of dear to my heart there. Dexter, good to hear you on. Anyway.
Hello, Mr. Banks.
A name, you talk about Cayman musicians, you mentioned Dee Dee and all the rest of them. But there's one of those old guys that's still around, Buddy B, a name that will resonate with a lot of Caymanians when you talk about music. He's still alive. He's in a nursing home up in North Carolina. 94 years old now. Has some Alzheimer, but he is still singing. A bit, I'd say, not the way he used to 60, 70 years ago. But he's still up there. And the people in the nursing home tells me, he said, he's singing all the time. Conky ain't got no bone, Monday boat in the town. And all these things. But that's just a little sidebar there. But, you're talking about music, and why aren't some of our musicians writing about the social issues of what's happening in Cayman? Because you get a comparison on country music and calypso,
mm-hmm.
which, I've always said they are kissing cousins. If you look back and see how they was constructed, how they've been constructed over the years, they're kissing cousins. And I sort of wish that some of the upcoming musicians would pick up a little bit on that trend of writing a little bit about some of the social issues that come up. I think really the last one that I can remember coming about was, and I don't remember whether this was the title of the song. Susan might be able to help us there, but it was, I think the title was, Don't Put the Hospital in the Pond, or something like that. You recall that one?
That was during that campaign where we were looking at, she was trying to remember who had it, but Don't Put the Hospital in the song.
I think he was a air traffic controller at the time. Air traffic controller.
Yeah, Abdul Jackson, I think he wrote that.
Yeah. And it's it was a well constructed song. It had good melody. It had good lyrics, and it talked precisely about what was on the community's mind at that time.
If I could ask you, sir, do you think, and to Mr. Borden as well, but to you specifically, the musicians and the artists specifically, the musicians, if they were to write a song that is sort of political, I think back to the one when you said that "No X for You" by the very talented East End fellow there, right? Try not to recall his name yet. because the question I'm asking is, when our musicians were to write songs like that and record and perform them, do you think that they suffer the potential of being greatly victimized because maybe the thing that they're speaking about, the people that perhaps they're talking about, may take it a little too personal and not see it for what it is, the commentary on the particular issue?
Well, I think in a small society, yeah, you run that risk. But I think that there's a much wider gap now, or window, should I say, for the tolerance of that kind of stuff. I mean, another one of the first ones that, and this goes back, I think, to 1975, the 75, 76 era was John Mitch's Treasure. Now, if you go back and listen to that song, now he had it very nicely shrouded, I think is the word to use. But if you listen to the contents of the song, and of course John Mitch had a good melody to it, but you know, and it was music. But some of the stuff that some of the the modern day musicians that are putting together, you know, some of it almost sounds like just a bunch of sounds put together. The melodic presence in it, or melodic quality of it, is not there.
Yes, sir.
And I think when you're talking about music, you got to have melody, you got to have lyrics, you got to have all those other things that go in. And Dexter did I think a good job on that, the Goldfield song, which is iconic, talking about things like that.
Right, the national song almost, huh?
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's the way a society grows.
Yes,
not
sir.
only by people bumping their gums on talk shows.
Hey.
No pun.
Anything else you want to share with us, sir?
but people, in the society, just under the almond tree, and
yes, sir.
There's a famous. I'm not sure whether the tamarind tree is still there. I don't know. Dexter, remember, or no, but down there, Mr. Albert Smith's tamarind tree, where
that's gone.
A lot of those jam sessions go on with Elon and Mr. Norberg and Buddy B and Gladstone Hydes and Burke Parsons, and there was a lot of other musicians around Georgetown, which I can't remember their names, but anyway, and somewhere I think we should have a recording with Dalmeen and Buddy B, and this goes back probably 25, 30 years, talking basically about those kind of things, along with, and I can never remember the name of this gentleman, but Rudy Powers' father. I can never bring his name to memory, but he was a great musician many years ago.
Yeah, and sadly, I think you fail to recall. I do as well. But thanks for sharing, sir, because you've raised a couple of things I want to ask Mr. Dexter about. But anything else, sir?
Yeah, and this gentleman that I'm talking about, he told me that Dee Dee used to accompany him on his gigs, and they were playing gigs back in those days, all around the island, carrying his clarinet for him, clarinet case, because this guy, he also played the steel guitar back in those days, and Buddy B played the dobra, and anyway,
yes,
I'll let you go, but that write something.
Yep,
we're working on a few things.
All right. Hey, thank you, sir. Thank you, and that's why I enjoy the company of people like Mr. Locklear and others, because they remind us. And as he was sharing about the tamarind tree, I believe from some of the research Ray Banker we're doing, unfortunately, Mr. Steve McField was telling us that that's cut down now. That's no longer
gone a long time.
It's gone a long time. And I look at Hyde Park, for instance, and other places around the globe. Do we in Cayman have places where not only are historic, like cultural like that, but even if we wanted today for the musicians and the artists, for the general populace to assemble, and that becomes synonymous with a place of, for want of a better word, protest, a place of demonstration, a place where expression, right? And it's done civilly, but it happened. Well, Mr. Warden.
No, I haven't. I'm not aware of any place around here.
This is it. I mean, we got like a street up in West Bay, but that's a different story. With that, though, as we look at the idea of music, you're talking about songs that you had composed that we would probably not associate with you because they're not country. The working. I thought quickly to some songs in the 9 to 5, the working man. What I want is take this job. Sure. There's so as I found the show, Susan said, but there's so many songs, country in particular, that speak to more than the possession of material things. Absolutely. They speak to ambition, speak to an ethos. We see maybe part of why Caymanians gravitated towards that because they could relate to it, having to not just subsistence living, but the necessities of life, the realities of the era then. Is that part of the draw and appeal, the lure, you think, of what country music means to us?
I think country music is, people turn to it for all kinds of reasons. to I guess have if you're able to sit and listen to other people's experiences and to realize that people have been through the things that you may be going through or things that you've been through yourself, and there's a unity kind of.
The symbolism too. I mean, it was that one bear from a horse is a whisker from a man, or is a whisker from a horse is a bear from a man. The things that we do now. If you were, let's say, we asked you to play a piece, what would you play? What would be the first song now that you would play if you were hit a few? What was like say a few chords and hum a few bars? What are there things that go to that jump out at you? That, like I see sometimes our mothers would be humming something, while they're doing stuff, or you yourself might have a little tune in your head that kind of gets you through. For you, is there a particular one that motivates you, that calms you, that inspires you, excites you?
Well, honestly, it all depends on the circumstances, the setting, and what's going on, because there's usually there's a song for just about every event, every occasion, every circumstance.
And that's the thing about music, when you're introducing, have the opportunity to share that the music touches you in a way. All right, I'm going to talk to Miss Susan now so she can take a break. When we come back, play some songs.
You bet.
We get into some discussion.
You bet.
Dexter Borden and the 949-6990 or the 949-8037 or even the toll-free line. That works as well. So we're looking forward to hear from you as we're going to get that insight from Dexter. Please stay tuned for Talk Today.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Did you know that government funding is available to assist with preschool education for eligible Caymanian children? If you have a child who will be between 3 to 4 years of age before September the 1st, you may be eligible for funding. To learn more about this government assistance program, email ecap@gov.ky, that's ECAP@gov.ky, or call 244-5735. Application forms can be collected from the Government Administration Building, the Department of Education Services, and all early childhood centres. Application forms are also available on the Ministry of Education's website. For more information, contact 244-5735.
Support our port, support our tourism.
Did you know the procurement process for the cruise berth facility has gone above and beyond to make sure that we get this project right? Government commissioned some of the most respected companies in the world to carry out research on scientific studies, and their expertise and findings are being used to make the best decisions possible. Learn more and spread the word.
Support our port, Support our tourism.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thanks for joining us in the good company of Mr. Dexter Borden. Now, I don't know whether if you would like to be labeled and described as a musician, social commentator, political activist, artisan, but in a sense, we all at different times in our lives take on different roles, and life has different meanings and purposes that, depending on where we are. And as an artist, I think it's important that we start to appreciate what you bring to the table, what that could mean for the country, and not just now in posterity and legacy, but the fact that we can have comments today about things happening today that's going to affect us as we look at the past and looking forward. Music, what does the Shakespeare? If music be the food of love, play on, right? Music brings us together. It can rile us up, as they say, whether we're dancing or whether we're looking for something a little more sedate. Music can be that thing, huh?
Absolutely.
Right.
I've been hearing a lot of instances where they depending on the type of music that they play, it incites people to be a little more aggressive and violent. And fortunately, the stuff that I do, people tell me, they say, Dexter, there's no fights at your show.
But it's amazing. I haven't done a lot of reading recently on it, but I remember one time looking at studies where presumably I only saw the sort of like the summaries of the studies. They would play certain music to plants, and the plants would live or die and respond a certain way. I thought, if it's done to a plant, and presumably this is done under controlled, environment with I guess, experimental scientific methods and the like, and it worked. How is it affecting your body, your brain? And you exercising and you listening to a very sedate song, you're probably not into the exercise. But if you listen to something that you're jumping and moving, you're probably going to be jumping and moving, right?
I think Richard Simmons proved that.
You know what? That's an image I was trying hard to forget. Those tights were just too much. But thank you very much. With that, you know what? Let's call it for the show. You couldn't say Gene Fonda. What's wrong with you, man? No, jeez. For that reason, you have to play a Calypso song. But players, I love Billy Joel. I'll be honest with you. Other than country, I love Billy Joel. I think he's a great singer songwriter. I remember his piece, "Play us a song, Mr. Piano Man."
Yeah.
Play us a song.
You bet.
And I used once his song "We Didn't Start a Fire" as a social studies lesson because it takes you through. And I think that's what music can do.
It's always burning.
Yeah. We always have something, right? And whether it's a Good Night at Saigon, as we take music and we look at musicians and we look at what they have captured, we'll come back to the Goldfield because I think that is a song that forever Caymanian
resonates.
It should. And can you imagine if you're, like in my case, your granduncle was the captain, if you have your parents or you have family that Goldfield moved you back and forth. It brought goods. It was genuinely the lifeline.
Absolutely.
We easily forget sometimes how it is. But anyway, you want to help us to appreciate, that not just the sacrifice and the consistent practice that has made you hone the craft. Anxious to hear some of your songs, some of you, holding the chords and play with us.
So,
what would you want? A little bit more Haggard? Play us one of your favorites. Play us whatever you want.
Well,
and then I got something else for you. Yeah.
I'd have to do you one called Can't Say Goodbye.
I hate it when she did that. Yeah.
Well, it's not really about her. It's about him. It's about his dad.
Yeah.
So, and it kind of relates to me with my dad, so as one of the reasons I like it. Also because it's a very well-written song.
was young, my dad would say, come on, son, let's go out and play. Seems like only yesterday. When I was all by myself, I'd climb up the closet shelf, find his hat, fix the brim, pretending I was him. No matter how hard I try, no matter how many years go by, no matter how many years go by, I still can't say goodbye. Took good care of Mom and me. We all cut down a Christmas tree. He always had some time for me. Wind blows through the trees, street lights, they still shine bright. Most things are still the same, but I miss my dad tonight. I walk by Salvation Army store, saw a hat like my daddy wore, tried it on, fixed the brim, still trying to be like him. No matter how hard I try, no matter how many tears I cry, no matter how many years go by, I still can't say goodbye.
You know, that's the thing with music, man, Dexter. And as I listen to you, we realize that it can not just resonate within our souls, but cause us so many times to be pensive, reflective, to be appreciative, and sad. It calls up a lot of emotions.
Yes.
But you shy away sometimes from the public to find your quiet space. Music can be that thing that brings you to grace and solitude.
Right.
As you were looking at the lyrics of that song, or even penning some of your own, how much of it is what you put down is your inner being? Is it something that brings you, like most, as we write our cherished thoughts? Are we all willing? Are we all willing to share those publicly as we do on paper?
I'm a little skeptical of mine most of the time.
We all are. I think we all are, man. It's hard. It's
yeah.
I was hopeful Susan didn't have the camera on me while you were singing, because you swallow hard.
Yeah.
And we take so much for granted. And that's what I love with this place. The fact that we can sit there and chat with you and have people understand that you bring a lot to the table, just in reminding us who we are. After the break, let's get into that, if you would.
Okay.
All right. Got a couple of questions for Dexter. I know this man is incredible, so hopefully I can keep up.
Oh, my.
Our news break is ahead, Miss Susan. 949-8037 or 1-800-534-TALK or 949-6990. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Community radio with a different appeal. The voice of the people. Security through adversity. Stuck on you. Radio for all time.
You're listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
One man is taken to the hospital after his car crashed into a tree on South Church Street in Georgetown late Wednesday night. RCIPS officers report the car struck a tree and had smoke coming from it. It was discovered that the car was occupied by a male driver only, and he appeared to be trapped in the vehicle with injuries. Fire crews had to remove him from the car, and first aid treatment was administered by emergency medical officers. He is being treated for serious injuries and is believed to currently be in serious but stable condition. In news elsewhere, U.S. President Donald Trump's prison-bound former lawyer told actor Tom Arnold last month that he pleaded guilty to some crimes he didn't commit so his wife wouldn't, quote, get dragged into the mud of this crap. Michael Cohen told Arnold they had me on campaign finance for arranging hush money payments to two women who claimed to have had affairs with Trump but denied committing tax evasion and called a crime related to a home equity line of credit, quote, a lie. Sri Lanka has revised down the death toll from Sunday's blast by more than 100 to about 253, the health ministry says. It has blamed a calculation error. Suicide bombers struck hotels and churches in the Colombo area and the eastern city. Hundreds were injured, officials said. There were a suspected 9 attackers. Joe Biden has hired Simone Saunders, a prominent African-American political strategist, as a senior advisor to his newly launched presidential campaign. The move adds a younger, diverse voice to Biden's cadre of top advisors, which has been dominated by older white men. It suggests Biden is seeking to broaden his appeal to a new generation of Democrats. Those are your latest updates here on Radio Cayman. I'm Shanta Gallego.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Thanks for joining us. And as you listen, join us by telephone if you want to call in, 949-8037, 949-6990. Really grateful equally to Mr. Dexter Borden for not just his, only his company, but for sharing with us. Now, as we went to the break, I'm kind of glad that we had the break then and gave me a chance to kind of swallow a little hard and compose. As you sing with such passion and emotion. I mean, that particular song itself, I think, does that for us as well. But you have a lot of, I call it passion. I don't know if that's the right word, in your lyrics. Not just the songs that you're singing, but you can feel it, the love, I call it. When you're cooking and your mama bring the food to the table, you know that the food tastes good because not only is she a great cook, but it's made with love. You can taste it, right? Same with your singing, man.
Well, I've had, I guess, people comment on that to me before, and I guess they compare some people who sing from their throat and then some people who sing from their, I guess, from their stomachs.
From the heart.
They're
hungry. Something that I wonder about us, Caymanians specifically, it's probably other people do it as well. We mask a lot of who we are with laughter. We play it off, we laugh it off. You don't see the emotion, you don't see that thing that's burning because we don't like confrontation. You keep pushing us. What to say? Let sleeping dogs lie. But we cast it off to some extent. Maybe it's a good thing. I hear stories of the seamen when they were at sea and they get into those bar brawls only after certain things transpired.
Right.
But music gives us a chance, or the arts in particular, to express some of those things, those inner feelings. You were sharing just before the break that maybe it's good that you shy away from some of the things. We don't want to share our personal feelings.
It's true.
I don't. Maybe people take them and use them against us, right?
No, they say pride goes before the fall.
Pride goes before the fall. Huh? But then as a society, though, are we becoming increasingly intolerant of things? Are we unwilling to embrace our differences and have a challenged discussion but still be respectful? I mean, we could sit down and eat. One person could like pork and another person couldn't stand the sight of it. But they should be able to share a meal.
Yeah.
At least I think so.
Well, as far as, I guess, being not being accepted within society, I think we've had several instances of that throughout our short history, and I can remember when people who grew dreadlocks started trying to come here at one point, and they were not welcome and accepted.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I think back to some of those instances where, for whatever reason, maybe it was for them a fad, maybe it was a realization that there was a reawakening, for whatever reason. Where, in your mind, where is that sense of self-expression and exploration, trying to embrace this new thing? Maybe it's a new food and cuisine, maybe it's a new lifestyle, whatever it is. And then being mindful of, well, in this society, these are the accepted norms. The two sometimes going to buck heads. Where do you draw that line? And if you want to think about it while we go to the break, go to the caller, sorry. I'm excited to speak to Dexter Borden. Let's go to our phones though. Hey, good afternoon. You're on Talk Today. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Yeah, how are you doing?
Excellent, sir. Always a pleasure to hear from you.
Thank you so much. That's Mr. Borden inside of there?
It is indeed, yes.
Yeah. Boy, I'm so really overwhelmed with this guy, his music talent. As a rooted Caymanian, I just don't know what to say, okay? Because thanking that gentleman is not enough. And the part about it that really amazes me, gets to me, an artist like that, a Caymanian, that second to none. I mean, in my books, he makes people like Waylon Jennings look like something in the past, man. Trust me. Yeah. I'm not bigging up, that's the fact. And it's so disheartening to see our own Cayman people just letting this guy sort of go by the wayside. We should be having one of the biggest concerts for people like Mr. Dexter Borden and others to promote them to a higher level, to financially help these guys. And what's wrong, especially not being critical, but I thought that our own radio station would be having regular programs trying to help these guys out. I hear all of the other things being played that, not being disrespectful again, but to me it's immaterial. Talent like what this gentleman has. I mean, look at the song about the gold field. Every Caymanian should have one of those CDs in their home, okay? And here we are just sort of playing this guy down and not taking advantage of a real thing that is Caymanian. So, the next couple of weeks you're going to have this one coming from all walks of life, all of the Johnny-come-latelys coming here and promoting them, and we're our own Caymanian going on the drain. And I say it's a shame to see what's happening into this island to people like Mr. Dexter Borden and others that is left by the wayside to fend for themselves while not we, but they actually pay no attention to him. So I just thought that I would throw in that little piece. And Mr. Dexter, I want to wish you all the best, and I hope that you would sort of arrange some sort of a concert, because I tell you what, I'll be coming to that for sure. So we look forward to hearing from you, and have yourself a good afternoon, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
And as I listen, if you want to respond, but as I listen to the call, I hear certain things that sort of should strike a chord with us.
Yeah.
You know? But what is it they say? You know, a prophet is not without honor, save in his own country. Caymanians don't seem to have sufficient respect for our own.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's the same elsewhere. I don't know.
Well, in response to the caller, and I appreciate all of the wonderful things that he said about me and the support for the musicians, but I guess there's probably more that I personally can do and could do, but I guess it comes down to the point where I, as you know, trying to be the artist and trying to be the manager and trying to be the promoter and trying to be the PR person and, you know, all of those things all at once, it's hard to get anything done.
Yeah, you know, as you shared, I'm thinking to the person who has a business idea, the entrepreneur. You know, that person may have a great idea, but to get that idea to market takes a lot of other things. And
Absolutely.
The strength of that entrepreneur may not translate into production and marketing and manufacturing and sales. You know, here's an idea, we're going to take this widget, and this is how it work. It takes a lot of other people. So maybe we need to do more of that, have greater resources. But it's probably the same with other things as well in other places.
Absolutely.
You can't, you know, be chief cook and, you know, bottle washer.
And, yeah. And that's, I guess, the issue with a lot of artists and or performers. And but there's more that I guess I could do, and as far as trying to promote myself more, due to the fact that I can't find anyone who's willing to promote me.
but is that something that I say this deliberately? There are many in our society, including our own people, who a term that I would use, you know, blowhards, right?
Right.
But for the most part, our people don't self-promote.
Right.
We, for whatever reason, you can go to whatever psyche you want to talk to, whatever reason, but we don't blow our own horn.
That's right.
I mean, for the most part, that could, you know, cause us to not get the recognition, the promotion, the access, the opportunity. But then again, you know, we should be able to recognize good when we see it. You know, it tastes a good piece of cassava cake. You know, when the hand has, you know.
And I believe honestly that a lot of that whole issue of us as a Caymanian people being people who are a little reluctant to promote themselves or to be more gregarious and outgoing, and I think that has a lot to do with our upbringing. I can remember as a child, I heard it all the time. You know, get out of big people's company, shut up, you're a little, you know, just be quiet, you know, and listen, and they don't, I guess, allow young children to express themselves from a young age, and they tend to force them to be more closeted, you know, is what I've noticed.
Possibly, yeah. We do have a caller online as we speak to Dexter Button. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling. All right, we had a caller online. Well, listen, if that was us that disconnected you, if that was because your phone, no, it's good. You call back and share your thoughts with us. I wonder, people. Let's try it again. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome. How are you today?
I'm not bad. I'm hanging in, giving God thanks. I'm just calling in and greetings to everyone.
And to you, special greetings.
Yeah, and I want to congratulate Dexter.
Thank you, ma'am.
Dexter, this is Lilith.
Lilith, hello, darling.
Hi, darling. How are you?
You're getting better every day.
Good to hear you.
Thank you.
Because I know that you do a lot of things. When you comfort people, when you go up to the pines and comfort the people up there.
I'm supposed to be there at 2 o'clock today.
Yeah, because my sister is up there. You know my sister, right?
I do, yes.
Right. I'm so glad to hear you.
Thank you, darling.
Yeah. Yes, darling. Well, you just enjoy the rest of your day, and I know your music is great, and you are a great person.
Oh, well, thank you.
God
Thank you
bless
so much.
And everything that you do.
Thank you, darling.
Okay. You have a good afternoon.
You do the same.
Thanks. You know, that call, well, you know what, I'll hang on my comment. Let's go to the other line. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thank you for calling.
Hello, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yes. So I heard you. You have Dexter Borden.
Yes, sir.
On with you.
Mm-hmm. We do, sir. Yes, sir. Mr. Borden is our guest. Okay. And hopefully we can get the phones. Are you able to hear us okay, sir? It's interesting, huh? Some days, boy, gremlins in the system, I call it. To that caller, I'm not sure exactly what transpires. I can assure you that it's nothing deliberate on our end, but I don't know. If you can, we invite you, as we do others, to please call us back. The caller just prior to the gentleman there mentioned, you work at, well, I don't call it you work at the Pines. When you visit the Pines, some know you do, some don't. It's no self-promotion. You don't do it for anything other than the fact that you can and you want to. And that's a great, well, for them to receive you. I mean, it's not just that they're a celebrity, but they love music, and you're great at singing and playing.
I've been doing that since about 2011, when I came back in 2010, and I started going up there around 2011. Yeah. And I go up there on Thursdays.
Consistently, almost every Thursday. Yeah, you're there, and people like you who do that. We old people call it, the parents would take you go visiting. Yeah. Right? You go and you do it and you bring joy to them. But I know
it gives me a lot of joy too.
From what you shared before, it brings a lot to you as well.
Yeah.
We're losing that, I think, as a people. Mm-hmm. Partly because we don't seem to make time. We don't seem to think that we have time to do things. It's so much. We're so busy. Sometimes seemingly, very busy. I'm just too busy. But you find time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And what is that like for others who are looking at a way to make a meaningful contribution? They don't want any PR. They're not looking for PR. They just want to give. You do it. Many other people do it.
Yeah.
How is it that some can and some do, and others can't seem even they may want to?
Well, I don't know. My work schedule kind of allows me to be a little flexible, and I have a lot of time on my hands most of the time, and because what I do mostly at night, in the nighttime. So there's a lot of daytime.
What's that song? I'm having night dreams, but day things in the middle of. Let's go to the phone. Let's try this caller again. Look at Susan. You sure laughing like that, man? She's getting in trouble. Good afternoon. Welcome back, sir.
Yes, sir. Right. Good afternoon again.
Thank you for that.
Having problems with my Bluetooth headset.
Yeah, boy.
You weren't hearing me well.
No, sir.
I tried to turn it off and it wouldn't turn off. Listen, I'm just calling. I'm so excited to hear Dexter on your show.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I first saw him at the Harquail, and I'm a country and western aficionado, so to speak, myself, and I had imagined myself sounding just like Dexter when I took my, I actually initiated my country and western singing career. That didn't happen, but I discovered Dexter. I still think I heard him the one time at the Harquail. I still think he is absolutely fantastic, out of this world. Oh, wow. He's a great singer. He understands the mood, the tempo of country and western music. I am, like I said, I'm a huge country and western fan. I've loved it all my life, virtually. I had the privilege of meeting him once in I think it was in Kirk, and recommended one of my own compositions to him, and that didn't fly. but I just wanted to know that as a nearly 70-year-old man who has been in love with country and western music for all his life, I really have the highest regard for him. I think he's fantastic. I'm not sure if you're discussing a show. If you are, could you please make sure that I know when and where? I haven't been able to listen because I was in my car, so that I can be at that show, because I think he's absolutely fantastic, and I respect him so much. So that's all I need to say. Have a great day, Sterling. Have a great day, Dexter.
Thank you very much, sir.
Well, thank you very much. I have a good imagination, but I can't imagine myself being as good a singer as Dexter. No, but like the caller, he's right. I mean, you have that. You were willing to stick to it. You persevered. You pursued your passion, and hopefully, it's brought you an element of satisfaction.
It has, and it's the I guess the effect that it has on people. I'm amazed all the time at the comments that I get. After I do a performance, people come up to me and say things like, I've had a lot of people telling me that, tourists were, in fact, we've been coming here for years, and this is the most enjoyable evening we've ever had, and that's kind of, I guess, head swelling if you let it. But, But yeah, I get that all the time. It has a different effect on the way I perform.
Well, it's like you play a football match, for instance, and I played with a high school team, and we had 5 people cheering for us. They're probably people that brought us into the game and had to wait till we finished so we can get back home. In the days that you had more people in was in the stands then on the sideline, the better you played on the field, even though you lost. I mean, we probably lost every game.
Yeah.
But
because you feed off of that energy as well.
Yeah. And like the callers before, if we were to embrace, Radio Cayman has, I think, consistently led in trying to promote local talent, helping hopefully to raise the bar, but having the access. But it's more than just that. It's about the talent recognizing that there's an opportunity and pursuing it. If it means even leaving Cayman, if it means, at least to my mind, if it means making sure that the recording, the record that you cut is of a good quality. Yes, it's a good song. Yes, it's a good lyrics. Yes, it's sung well. But did you record it properly so that it can be played? Two little beats on a bad pan won't cut it today, right?
Not today.
Was it not today, Bobo?
Not today, Bobo.
But with that, though, Mr. Dexter, when we look at Cayman and we see, as you were showing, the change in fabric in our society, there are those of us who can have, we can break bread, we can have a conversation, we can disagree, then we can move off and then come back the next day. And, what was that cartoon, Foghorn Leghorn? They argued back and forth, and then the next day they started back over.
Absolutely.
Are we mature enough as a society to do that?
I think we're getting there, but not quite yet.
But is it because, and this is not a hit at the politicians aspiring or retiring, is it that our leadership across the board don't set that example?
I got a song about that.
You got a song about that? Are we going to hear it?
If you want me to, I can play it for you.
Listen, man, this floor is yours.
It's called Watch It Happen or Deep in My Pocket.
You play? You want to play it now?
If you want me to,
go right ahead.
I can.
Well, sometimes the best way to hear what has to be said is through song.
Yeah, well, I got one for you.
Oh boy. Let me see if I have a job after this, but you go right ahead, man. I can wash dishes and cook. This is original Dexter Borden.
It is. This is something that I actually recorded over in the BRAC with Mr. Vernon Smith at the Backyard Studio. That was a few years ago, but it's called Deep in My Pocket. Elect me to office, I'll make you a vow. Things will be different than they are right now. But he cannot deny that it's us that still will have to fill up the till up on Capitol Hill. And all I can do is watch it happen when leaders lead me astray. All I can do is watch it happen. Dig deep in my
my pocket to pay. They must think UDP means I'm a dumb people. Should be nothing but poorly paid man. Why they treat me as if I don't belong here, and against me, that's where they stand. And all I can do is watch it happen. Leaders lead me straight. Cost of living goes up, the wages go down. I dig deep in my pocket to pay. Cost of living goes up, the wages go down. I dig deep in my pocket to pay.
Now, if I may ask, what year did you record it or write it? If it wasn't the same as the recorded.
Well, I think I was on the bracket. It was 2012.
2012.
Yeah.
So that recent.
Yeah.
So we've seen sort of the formalization of the modern party system in the early 2000s. Takes a while for our populace to kind of catch on.
Yeah.
So 2012. I wonder, to the caller earlier, if the public listening would realize the commentary that comes through music. Let's go to the phones.
Cool.
Hey, welcome, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. Good afternoon, Mr. Dexter, Ms. Susan, all our listeners.
Yes, sir. Welcome to you.
Yes, good afternoon. How you been, Mr. Dexter? It's been a long time. I haven't heard anything about you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Raymond. Good to hear from you. I'm getting better, I hope.
Yes, sir. You are my choice for country music. I remember when you comes over to the break there with the agricultural show and you performed up there. What great music.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yes, sir. You would be my choice for country music as a Caymanian, one of the greatest.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, and remembering back when you and my good friend there, Captain Arlen, late Arlen Tatum.
Yes,
Captain
Mr. Arlen. Yeah, Captain Arlen, yeah.
Oh, yes. How we miss him.
Absolutely.
You and him used to perform on the stage, and that was so good.
Yeah, I think the last time he did something was at the captain's table.
Yeah, that's correct. At the captain's table, I remember that. When you think you'll be back up here again?
I don't know. I should come up this weekend.
Are you sending a ticket?
I wish I could, yes.
I know. So close, but yet so far sometimes, huh?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Raymond, it's people like you who remember our own and who help to celebrate and share in that celebration. So, we're in this together.
Yes, definitely. I'm the one that maintained the Caymanian seafaring heritage with having these honors given to the seamen and their wives and relatives with the salutes at sea, daytime and nighttime, off Grand Cayman and off Cayman Bright.
Yeah, something that one day we'll probably appreciate, but maybe hopefully sooner rather than later. But what else you want to share with Mr. Dexter, Mr. Raymond?
Yes, when he was a seaman, was National Ball Carriers the only ships you worked with?
Me?
Yes, sir.
Never been.
Okay.
I've never been out to sea. My dad was a seaman.
Okay, understood. Yeah, I thought you were.
My dad was Jefferson Baden.
Yes, understood that.
Yeah, I think I think there's a few things about him there at the Seafarers Hall.
Yeah, tomorrow morning, the biggest load of coconut oil ever to come to the Western Hemisphere. Coconut oil, a tanker loaded with coconut oil is passing to the southwest, to Grand Cayman. And it's actually the newest 45,000-ton tanker in the world. And it's coming from the Philippines, Davao. The Filipinos that are hearing me, they know that place. In fact, maybe one or two from that province in the Philippines, Davao. And that was one of our Caymanian heritage products too. In Cayman Bright, they used to export coconut Jamaica, they used to dry the coconuts and make oil from them, which is copra. You know about that too, Mr. Dexter, right?
I'm a little familiar with it, yes, sir.
Yes, there's an old house that is still remaining up in the bush on the south coast of the island. The late Otto Foster, Otto's old house, and you can barely see it up in the bushes. Its property is sold, and it's just a dilapidated house now, but that used to store hundreds, thousands of coconuts inside of that. They used to have farms up there and dehusk the coconuts and have them stored in the house and ship them out from the ports here in Cayman Brac on schooners going to Jamaica and other places for making coconut oil. And this tanker that is passing Grand Cayman tomorrow, the tanker has a quantity of 14 million gallons of coconut oil.
Wow. You fry a lot of barracuda.
Yes, sir. And speaking about that, there has never been such a demand in the history of America like it is now. For coconut oil, that is headed to New Orleans, where they have a storage tank that they pump it into, just like they pump gasoline and diesel ashore. They pump the coconut oil into the storage tanks, and then the tanker trucks come and load that and carry that to the factories for packaging and processing it and making candy bars and pastries and just bottling it for sale for coconut oil. And the next port in America that is doing that after New Orleans, then the ship will be going to Savannah, Georgia. They have another big storage facility there, and they will do the same thing and distribute it all over the United States. And another tanker is coming by Cayman Brac 2 weeks' time with 11 million gallons of coconut oil. So that will tell you what the demand for coconut oil is in the United States.
Incredible, man.
Mr. Raymond, before you go, I wanted to say to you that I have always been amazed at your ability to retain information and your ability to convey it the way you do. and I have always admired you and your memory bank.
Yes. Thank you very much. That's
yes,
right.
sir.
No computer or no book I'm looking at. In fact, I'm out by the seaside now. I'm out by the seaside here, just west of Scott's Dock on my property here. So
you're amazing.
So true, man. So true. Hey, thanks so much, man. And Mr. Dexter for sharing that too, because I think Raymond has exhibited a language
he doesn't
skill.
get enough. He doesn't get enough thanks and praise for what he does.
All right. Well, hopefully, again, as we celebrate, you will celebrate each, and then we start to respect that.
Yeah.
Let's pause so that we can keep Susan happy.
Okay.
Because she's been gracious to us.
Absolutely.
We'll come back. More good conversation with Dexter Borden. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
CUC advises participants in the Green Iguana Culling Program to exercise extreme caution around the CUC's poles and power lines, especially when extracting iguanas from trees or branches that are in close proximity to poles and power lines. Participants should keep all objects such as poles, sticks, or hooks away from any CUC equipment to avoid any electrical contact. For further information, please contact our customer service team at 949-5200 or via email at service@cuc.ky.
Radio Cayman's premier health show,
For the Health of It with Tara Bush,
is brought to you on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. on 89.9 and 93.9 FM. Proudly brought to you by the Cayman Islands Civil Service Association. For more information on how you can become a member or the benefits of the CICSA, please visit www.cicsa.ky. For your convenience, the CICSA offices are open on Mondays from 9 to 12 p.m. and Thursdays from 1 to 4 p.m.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
From happy beginnings to happy ever after.
BritK protects your lifestyle with the best insurance cover at the best possible price.
Health insurance with far-reaching benefits.
95% of claims settled in 5 days.
Low-cost life insurance.
And investments.
Security in retirement.
With a custodian pension plan.
For happy beginnings and a happy ever after.
Visit BritK.ky or call 949-8699.
BritK, where people come first.
The Tuesday and Thursday edition of The Business Buzz is brought to you by Cayman Medical Supplies, providing quality pharmaceuticals, medical supplies, and consumer products to healthcare providers, retailers, and ultimately the patients at a reasonable rate in a friendly, caring, and timely manner. Cayman Medical Supplies is located at number 93 Smith Road, Windward Center. Telephone 949-6211.
Business owners, managers, and marketers interested in learning how digital and social media marketing can help grow your business? Join Yellow Media Group Monday, May 27th at Yellow Digicon and unleash your company's digital potential. Learn from international digital marketing and social media experts, including speakers from Google and Matchcraft, plus a Fortune 500 digital marketing strategist. Complimentary registration for Yellow Media Group customers. Register now at digiconcayman.com or findyellow.com. Presented by Yellow Media Group in partnership with Google.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thanks for joining us. And thanks again to Dexter Borden for sitting with us. And I'm hopeful, sir, as we have this conversation, not just the two of us now, not just listening, but as a maturing democracy, that we're able to maybe have certain things that are true to us. That we say, okay, this is our minimum standard, as it were. Not this line that is on the sand, and depending on how high the tide is, it keeps moving. Couple of questions. Again, if you so inclined, do we have those things, not these hard and fast lines that have no value, but are there things that are of value, that are entrenched in this society, that we say, you know what, we have to maintain these because they're important? I think our parents and their parents had them, but do we have them anymore?
Well, I think the situation within the community in the last few months, in regards to the same-sex marriage and all of those other issues, is quite evident that there are things that the majority of the Caymanian people hold fast to and want to, I guess, maintain.
Again, only because I look at you and I see somebody who is not only very smart, who's experienced, who has an opinion. And that's,
thank you.
No, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I enjoy talking to people that I can learn from. Don't mean that I have to agree. You agree with everything somebody says, you're not really learning anything, right?
True.
Are we, I don't say this to insult people, but sometimes the truth hurts. Are we hypocrites in this society?
Oh.
We talk about this, but we turn a blind eye to that.
Unfortunately, yes. I can't say it any other way. Yes, there's a lot of hypocrisy in this society.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the same in elsewhere, but this is where I live and this is where my bread is buttered. It's good to have a value system, but that value system, if it's about family values, then it should be about homelessness and then people who are going hungry. Sure. It should be about fornication and all the other ills. I mean,
people pick and choose, though.
Well, I don't drink alcohol, just beer. Yeah. Beer is alcohol. Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying that, right?
That's right.
But is that the problem? And then if somebody was to stand up and say, well, listen, this is my principle. Do people look at them and go, look at him, holier than thou? Is that how it is? What I say, damn if you do and damn if you don't. I mean, is that a problem with this society?
Well, you see, I think where the problem arises for me is the fact that people are supposed to be able to have their own opinions about things and supposed to be able to have their own beliefs and whatever they choose to agree with. But the fact is that you don't need to try to conform or have other people conform to that belief of yours,
exactly.
You see, and that's where I think the problem arises.
I agree with you. I mean, you, not just because you're a little bit older than me, if you didn't tell me your age, people look at you and go, wow, he's a young man. This is why when we talk about retirement age, I don't know that we should be looking at mandatory things. we should make sure that we provide for our people, or have the opportunities to provide for our people, because they can pay into something to get something when they get to a certain point when they need something. But if you're 90 years old and you still want to be kicking and jumping and screaming and shouting,
you should be able to.
You should be able
allowed to.
I mean, look at some of the musicians. Yeah. Was it Blondie that was performing here the other day? Okay, she's not a teenager, but she's kicking and jumping.
Mick Jagger.
All right. I mean, watched a concert from Australia the other day with the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those guys look a little frail, but then look at some of the rock musicians, Def Leppard and some of them. They're not spring chickens, but they're kicking and screaming and jumping and moving better than some spring chickens.
Yeah.
So they can do it. Why can't it be? With that, Miss Vida always reminds me, say, by their fruits ye shall know them. Many of us, we talk, we pray in a certain way, we perform a certain way, but there's no substance, right? I'm not a religious person. I try to be a little bit biblically grounded, but that's me.
Okay.
That's me. There's a joke that a friend reminded me of, say, long ago, rather than the table, and before anybody could start, he jumped in and started eating. His mom snapped him and said, "Boy, you can't wait till you say grace, because we do that at home." He said, "Yeah, but we at grandma's house. She know how to cook."
You don't have to worry about it hurting you.
So there you go. But some of us we say our grace because that's how we talk.
That's why they do that.
That's why they do that. Now you know. No, you didn't know. But is it that we pontificate and we postulate and we posture so much that we just put up a good front, but there's no substance. Whether it's the politician or the pastor, whether it's the priest or the pupil.
It's true. It's people just tell people what they want what they think they want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I see. And Sterling, when it comes to believing in things and being convinced of things, my position here on this earth is that this earth here is my heaven.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only heaven I will ever know.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot and I refuse to believe in any promise or any proposition that I cannot realize until I'm dead. If I can't know about it while I'm alive, then it doesn't exist for me. It's just not, it's impossible. If it's a promise that I can't realize until I'm dead, I'll never realize it. That's where I stand with that.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, we each have to, so let each be persuaded according to their own, right? We have a caller, Miss Susan. Maybe Mr. Dexter, if you're comfortable, we can talk about it, but only if you are. Let's go to the phones, though. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling us back.
Hi.
Hey, sir.
It's me again.
You're welcome back again, sir.
Yeah. Okay, now, I just heard you say something which I have been contemplating for a while. As a matter of fact, I wrote a very lengthy piece on that issue, the recent major controversy that engulfed our island for a while. Now, and somebody did say we're being hypocrites because we talk about this particular issue, but we not condemning the other issues. And, and I said maybe that is true, but only to a limited degree, because what I said is I condemn this particular one. The same-sex marriage, I have absolutely no place for it in my thoughts and my mind. Anyway. But I'm saying that sin is sin. And we all sin. And, regardless of whether you are religious or not, there are things that you do that you have a built-in moral conscience and tells you that these things are wrong. But if something else became the subject of public scrutiny the way this issue has, if it's wrong, according to the Bible and according to my conscience, I will condemn it just as roundly.
Right.
You see, the reason we're dealing with this, people say, why don't do it with something else? If somebody says, I love my dog, I want to marry my dog, it should be my right. I own the dog. I feed it. I do everything for it. Why can't I marry my dog? You have to give that the same import, the same weight that we're giving this particular subject matter. And you have to let that person marry his dog, her dog, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so what I'm saying is that I believe that the Bible talks specifically about it. I believe in what the Bible says, and I remember that in the case of Lot, when he wanted to, when the angels came and the men of Sodom wanted to have sexual relations with them, he said, no, listen, I got 2 daughters. They're virgin. I can let you have them. Beautiful girls. And he said, no, we want those men. Well, I think that's sick. And that's akin to what's happening now. As I've said in my paper, I can send to you sometimes so you can look at it. You don't have to read it on the air, or you can choose to read it if you want.
Yes, sir. Please send it, yeah.
But, yes, as I said, no, the whole thing is this. 2 people, just 2 people, mind you. We don't have 200 people. We don't have 20 people out there saying we want same-sex marriages. And for 2 people, we roll over and play dead, so to speak. Something has to be wrong with that, Sterling. If there was a loud public outcry saying that this is our right, I could imagine the Chief Justice looking at it and saying, too many people want to, we have to do something better. He would be wrong, but he would have more of a logical, more logical grounds on which to stand. You see what I mean? But for 2 people, you were saying, oh, and then people say, and I want to make this point before I go. People say, why can't you let people love each other, whoever they want? People, you can't stop people loving each other. I believe the word love has been shanghaied, usurped, whatever, by the people in this thing to sort of bedazzle, people who are of good, strong moral conscience. Because it's not love. Love is not intercourse. Sex is not love. Love is not sex. They're not interchangeable. You cannot use one alternately, or alternatively. They're 2 separate things. Some people could want to indulge in the sexual act and not love each other. And there are people who love each other but don't necessarily want to indulge in that act. So we cannot say that they're one and the same. But if people have carefully chosen to use that word love to sort of, who are of normal conscience and say, yes, but of course, love. And the thing is not love, it's lust. And lust, as I said in my piece, of the most sordid sort. Anatomically, you can see, forget the Bible. Anatomically, you can see that men and women are made for each other, and that intercourse between men and women can produce children. The other kind, all it brings is pleasure. Not that there's anything wrong with pleasure, but if we make pleasure the highest good, we sell ourselves short and say that we're prepared to deal with moral depravity. That's how I see it.
Right. Yes, sir.
May I ask the caller a question?
Okay. Yeah. No, I don't think we do. Can he ask? We need to take a... All right. Shash, can you hang on a second? Okay. We'll take a break and then we'll... conversation versus communication. Thank you, caller. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Save time, don't stand in line. You can apply for or renew your trade and business license online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just visit dci.gov.ky and click on the Trade and Business Online application link. Now, you don't need to stand in line, take time out of your busy schedule or try to find parking. You can apply for your trade and business license online. Visit dci.gov.ky today and save time for running your business.
Keeping cool in Cayman is essential, but can be costly. Making small adjustments to your household can lead to big savings and help protect the environment. Keep your blinds, curtains, doors, and windows closed when it's hot outside. Using a fan instead of AC will use less power and can cost a mere third of air conditioning. And when using a fan, rotate it anti-clockwise, which will blow the cool air downward, saving even more energy and money. Visit the Ministry of Commerce, Planning, and Infrastructure Facebook page for more tips on alternatives to AC and be an energy advocate.
Headlines.
With the latest headlines.
Headlines.
All the news when you want it. Tune in to Radio Cayman for hourly headlines of the day's top stories.
One of Cayman's bright and shining young stars.
Local, regional, international.
Headlines.
Turning to international news. Updates on the hour between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. on weekdays. Radio Cayman News.
Headlines.
Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Circle of Love Women's Ministry and DCFS would like to thank our gold sponsors for their support of the annual Child Month Breakfast on May 11, 2019. Cayman National Bank, Persona Events, Wendy's, Book Nook, Marriott Beach Resort, Atlantic Kids, Foster's Food Fair, and Cayman Islands Monetary Authority. Thank you, gold sponsors, for empowering, impacting, and encouraging the future of the Cayman Islands. For more information on the Child Month Breakfast or to be a sponsor, contact Shanda Hunter at 922-3229.
Support our port, support our tourism.
Did you know government agreed very early on that the piers would be built on pilings in deeper water to minimize the environmental footprint? Marine life will still be able to move freely underneath them, and coral relocation remains part of the plan.
Looking forward, looking bright.
Learn more and spread the word.
Support our port, support our tourism.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thanks so much for joining us in the studio. Good company, Dexter Borden. See, music and philosophy, a little insight and some pensive thought on the phones. Our callers so gracious. Thank you so much, sir, for hanging on during the break for us.
My pleasure.
Okay, and thanks for sharing. I think Mr. Borden had wanted to engage in a little bit of discussion, but it was a question, Mr. Borden?
Yeah, I had a question for the caller. I was, I guess, interested in you saying that. The things that you were saying seem to be based on biblical beliefs, and I've heard people over the past several weeks commenting about the Chief Justice overstepping his boundaries and into the legislature from the judicial and there's supposed to be a separation of powers. But I wondered, why is there no separation of powers within the legislature with the power of the pulpit and the power of the legislature?
No, there's no connectivity between the legislature.
Of course there is, sir. When the majority of, or I should say, all of the legislatures or legislators are there willing to support or to come out against whatever the proposal is, and based on the fact that they don't believe that it's right according to the Bible. They're using the Bible to legislate laws, and I think it's wrong.
Well, that's what we've always done, you know.
But that doesn't make it right. There used to be a time when slavery was legal in the United States, too. Did that make it right?
Pardon?
I said there was a time when slavery was legal in the United States, where it was legal for you to own other humans, and that was the norm. Did that make it right?
People soon determined that was wrong, and so that's not it's not on the books any longer. That slavery is okay. So we can safely put that one aside.
So what makes it right for one religion to be dominant in a so-called multicultural society that we are trying to build in this little saucepan we call Grand Cayman? They want to make a melting pot.
What we're saying, Dexter, what I'm saying is that for centuries, peoples around the world have held that homosexuality is wrong. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you look at the facts surrounding it, but take the Bible out of it. What is the benefit? Is there a social benefit? Is there a moral benefit? Does it uplift our people? No.
Well, let me tell you what the benefit is for people that are against homosexuality is that two homosexuals can't reproduce. So if you leave them alone long enough, they'll cancel themselves out.
Well,
because there's no potential of them making another one like them.
No. And what I'm saying is how the gays, etc., they want to force their belief on young girls. Beliefs that you've held all your life and held dear, believe in. They want to come on with one fell swoop. They want to wipe all those things away. That is wrong. That must be wrong. No, I'm not saying, yeah, that has to be wrong. You can offer your views. What is wrong with persuasion and proselytization and those things, where you win people over into your way of thinking, not beat them over the head with it and say you're evil, you're this and you're that. If you don't accept, that has to be wrong. Anybody with a moral conscience has to admit that is wrong. If these people think they're right, yes, let them go ahead and keep pursuing it doggedly if they want, but you cannot deify the rest of us because we believe, and that is part of our belief system that we've held for years.
But I guarantee you one thing, sir. I'm not a homosexual. I've never engaged in homosexual activity. I am 100% heterosexual, and I love women, probably a little too much, but I can tell you this much, sir, that it is totally wrong for any government to be using their personal beliefs to legislate laws for the majority of the society.
All right. Thanks very much, sir. Apologies for that. Let's take the other call and see what this, wherever this goes. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thank you for calling.
Good afternoon. How are you, sir?
Very blessed and thankful, sir. Yourself?
Same thing. I'm fine as sifted flour, as old people used to say. Of course, you get too fine, you blow away too.
Well, Mr. Ezra talks about tough as brown cotton.
Yeah. Right.
Aye.
Yes. Anyway, I was listening to that caller there talking about, he made a statement which I just had to call in. He was saying that it's wrong using the Bible to legislate laws. It was the caller that made that statement, right?
Yeah, Mr. Dexter shared that in the caller, say, well, that's what we've done historically. We've used laws reflective of that, yes.
Doesn't he understand and know that all the laws, anywhere in the world you go, the laws are patterned after the Bible?
They don't make it right.
He ought to realize that.
That doesn't make it right.
Say what?
That does not make it right.
What do you mean it doesn't make it right? If it's patterned after the Bible, as Christians, we have to stand up and defend that.
Not everybody in this world are Christians.
Well, not everybody in this world is Christian, but not everybody is a sinner like you either.
I think you're a sinner as well.
No, I'm not. By the grace of God, I strive every day to live a righteous life.
Since you're here to defend God, would you answer me a question, sir?
What is that now? I'd like to hear that.
Where did God come from? And where is he? Can you take me to him?
I tell you what, death will take you to him.
No, it won't. That'll take me out of the heaven I live in here on Cayman. That's the only thing death will do for me.
You got a hell of a lot of hell to go through.
That is what's wrong with your belief system, sir. Is that it's nothing but masochistic, sadistic stupidness. It really is. Any promise that anybody makes you that you can't realize until you're dead, you will never realize, sir.
Realize long before you die.
I said you will not realize it until you're dead. Any blessings you get on this earth are a result of the people around you and the good that other people around you do for you.
No, Mr. Dexter, with that, when we look at it, maybe we can chat about that some more. Keep going.
Obviously, he doesn't believe in the Bible, but the word has said, a fool has said in his heart, there's no God. I have no compunction.
I can say on this radio, there is no God. That's what I believe. I do not have any reason to believe different.
All right. And I guess that's the strong convictions that we have. Appreciate you sharing your thoughts, Carl. Mr. Dexter, it is some of us on whatever side of the equation we are. Strongly held convictions, believe in God, don't believe in God. Believe in God in this.
I wish some people would have answers.
Mm-hmm.
They can't tell me how is it that God was able to make Adam from dirt. Okay? But then he had to take a part of Adam to make Eve. Then he made a clone of Adam. So he created the propensity for incest from the beginning then, because he made a sister from Adam. He was able to make the sun, the moon, the stars, and put all the planets in the right places, to put every molecule and every proton and every electron in a piece of copper and have it consistent for billions and billions of years, and it's still to this day the same as it was from then, and he's able to monitor and maintain all of that. People need to stop and ask questions and expect answers. I ask questions, and all I'm supposed to do is have faith. And when they tell me I'm supposed to have faith, I realize that means I'm supposed to have fear, because that's all what they call faith. That's all that is fear.
Faith and fear for you is one and the same. That's
what it is, one and the same. They call it faith, but it's fear.
All right.
He's talking to me about I'm gonna be damned the day I die and all this other. How is that possible? When I'm dead, how am I going to know? You can do anything in the world to me when I'm dead.
All right, let's talk about that more, because if you want, it's interesting. Strong convictions.
But it's stupid. How many lives do we get to live? When I was born, from the moment or the time that I was able to understand, they told me you only get one life to live. You need to enjoy it. You need to take care of yourself. You need to be good to other people.
All right.
That's what I was told. You only get one life to live. How in the world is it that I'm going to look to find how can I go and find another one when I know from birth I only get one life to live?
All right. After the break, let's hear some more. Please stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio K-Man. From Radio K-Man's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
The Department of Vehicle and Driver's Licensing launches its amnesty on Monday. The aim is to hit reset for persons who have incurred a mounting backlog of fees for unlicensed vehicles, no matter the reason. The amnesty will run for 6 months and will end on Friday, November 1st, 2019. Once the amnesty process has concluded, customers will no longer be able to write off back fees and will again become liable for the costs associated with their unlicensed vehicle. In news elsewhere, Sri Lanka's Prime Minister said Thursday that suspects linked to the coordinated Easter Sunday bomb attacks remain at large and could have access to explosives. Some of the suspects may go out for a suicide attack, Prime Minister said in an interview with the Associated Press. The Prime Minister also spoke frankly about the greatest challenge the South Asian island nation has faced since its civil war ended a decade ago. Former U.S. Vice President Joe Biden has declared a presidential bid, putting an end to months of speculation. In a video announcement, Mr. Biden argued that the core values of the nation, our very democracy, everything that has made America America, is at stake. The 76-year-old, who has already run twice for the presidency, enters a crowded race for the 2020 Democratic nomination. He is up against 19 other hopefuls. And a storm moving through the area has indefinitely delayed the opening day of the 50th New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival. The National Weather Service said there was an 80% chance of rain Thursday, and some storms might be severe. More than 70 acts, including Earth, Wind and Fire and Alanis Morissette, are scheduled Thursday, along with scores of food and arts and craft vendors. The festival generally goes on rain or shine, though storms canceled one Friday in 2004. The rest of the weekend is expected to be sunny. Those are your latest updates here on Radio K-Man. I'm Shanda Gallego.
Radio K-Man, the voice of the Cayman Islands. What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiokman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio K-Man is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio K-Man.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. And in the studio, good company of Dexter Borden. A couple of callers online, sir. Let's go to the phones. Already here. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good day.
Good day, sir.
Hello, Mr. Dexter.
Hello.
All right. Very interesting, very intriguing. The last time I spoke to you, Mr. Dexter, we were doing a show for CMA, and we were helping out Mr. Stano.
Yeah.
Gordon Solomon here, sir.
Okay, Gordon.
And it was very interesting to note. You said to me you didn't have a particular album or haven't produced any.
No.
And I was kind of left thinking about that and wondering, just wondering why, and noting the catalog of music that we don't have. I didn't know why. I mean, Mr. Dexter, I mean, you have the talent and you recorded some songs, but why haven't we recorded an album that we can perhaps say, we can hold you up and say, you know, this is Mr. Dexter. I respect Mr. Dexter. That's my first point. My second point, as you know, I do a lot of spiritual music, and I want to go to the question that the individual asks, where is God? And I want to tie it into my experience. Because for me, God is actually within me. And I haven't told any people this, but I think it's time to start talking about this stuff. What led me to doing music was I had a whole spiritual awakening. And it led me to my whole content change, my writings change, my thought process change. And the only thing that affected that process was other individuals, other spiritual beings. And I think at this point, that's usually where my problem is. Otherwise, I think I'm okay with God in mankind and the reason for music.
Yes, sir.
Yes, am I still on?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Dexter, I would just like to know. Those are my. I would like to know what you think about the first point and then the second point.
Okay, I think you were talking about the fact that I haven't done any major production album or recording. In regards to that, I guess I admire people who are willing to go out and produce themselves and pay for a production of an album and promote it themselves and all that. But I've always been one that thought that if I'm good enough to record music, then the people who go around looking for people to do that and pay for the studio and pay for the promotion and pay for the production and, you know, all of those other things, if they tap me on the shoulder and say, hey, come, we want to record you and we're going to give you a record deal, you know what I'm saying? But as far as me patting myself on the shoulder and saying I'm that good, I should go and record myself, that is the primary reason that I haven't done that.
Interesting.
And I guess the people haven't come along yet to think that I'm good enough to be recorded.
So, Dr. Well, I thank you for your time and appreciate you, sir.
Yeah, no, and then there's something about spirituality.
Well, it helped me. I found that it actually helped me more than hindered me, sir.
Well, what we all on this earth need to stop and realize is that every single thing that we experience on this earth is a result of humans. Even the word spiritual came from humans, as made up by humans too. Spirituality, what is that? What is a soul? I don't understand. It's not something I can see, so I can't. That's not part of my life, to be honest.
All right, Mr. Gordon, thanks much, man.
Okay.
So, sir, we do have a couple of the callers. Shall we take them? Good afternoon, welcome.
Ready.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, Dwayne.
Hey, KB, how you doing, man?
Okay, and good afternoon to your guest,
Good afternoon, sir.
Mr. Dexter Borden. Yes. Well, I believe every word that's written in the Bible.
Don't force it on me.
Excuse me?
Try not to force it on me.
Oh, just let me speak, please. I believe that the Bible is the Word of God. I believe God did use and work through human beings to write the Bible. I believe that God sent his son Jesus here on this earth to let us know the truth, that his Father is our Heavenly Father, Almighty God, and that he is the Son of God. And I believe that Jesus did come here on this earth to change things from the way they were. And when I say that, in the Old Testament, it was an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth.
All right. And let's take the other caller. Welcome. Good afternoon.
That was it?
I think he may have got...
cut off.
Good afternoon. Oh, break. Okay. Somebody with the phone. Let's go to a break. Susan, all right. Come back. Text the board. At some point, we'll get some songs as well. Maybe. We'll see. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Attention accounting service providers. According to the Anti-Money Laundering and Counter-Terrorist Financing Regulations, all firms providing accounting services, including but not limited to bookkeeping, payroll, accounts preparation, or tax advice, are required to register with the Cayman Islands Institute of Professional Accountants by May 30th. Free workshops will be provided on May 3rd, 10th, and 17th. For more information, call 749-3360. Email admin@ciipa.ky or visit ciipa.ky.
Brand Source is putting a spin on spring cleaning with 20% off all washers and dryers from GE, Samsung, LG, and Frigidaire. Take a load off by making laundry easier, quicker, and energy efficient with 20% off all washers and dryers. Save now on laundry appliances from GE, Samsung, LG, and Frigidaire. Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Call 623-5000. Sale ends this Saturday.
Did you know that recycling collection containers are located island-wide in Grand Cayman? The Department of Environmental Health program is an integral part of DEH's waste management responsibility in the Cayman Islands. Start your recycling program at home today. Put your cardboard items in appropriate DEH recycling containers at all Foster's supermarkets, Kirk Market, or Hurley's Grand Harbor. Help keep Cayman clean. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. For more information about recycling, go to www.deh.gov.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. And as we have the good company of Mr. Dexter Borden, let's see as we continue our conversation. Good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Yes, good afternoon, Dwayne.
Oh, hey, welcome back again, man.
Okay, sorry about that.
Likewise, man, but thanks for joining us.
Yes, where I left off was the Old Testament. The way people were living in the Old Testament, it was an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Then Jesus and God felt that the people needed to know the truth. And he sent his son Jesus here on this earth. And when Jesus came here, he changed those types of things when it comes to an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. by letting others know that we need to forgive one another and to turn the other cheek. And even people who don't believe, Jesus died for them also. That's why he said on the cross, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And the people at that time did not know who was behind their sins and who blinded their minds from the truth. And that was Satan. And when Satan tempted Jesus in the wilderness and said to him, and tempted him to do things just to say he made Jesus do it, Jesus said, "Get behind me, Satan, for it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God." And the Bible is a living book. And I've proven that many times. And Jesus and God have spoken to me in ways that only they could have spoken to me. And no one on this earth can stop me from believing the truth. And the truth is everything that's written in the Bible. And any country that goes by the word of God and doing what Jesus and God ask us to do as human beings will become a more loving society. I mean, the Bible says, God and Jesus said not to argue when it comes to religion. But religion is a very serious thing.
Yeah, they'll come and kill you for it.
So,
a proposition in the world that they'll actually come and kill you if you don't agree with them.
Yes, religion to me, arguing about religion is like prejudice.
Yeah, one of the most unhealthiest things to have to do on earth, and it's probably one of the worst things to ever happen to humanity. It was the introduction of it, and it was designed to control women in particular. That's what it's designed for, the control of women. Women have to be subservient to man, and that's why most men want to hold on to that, so the women will be subservient to them. I don't agree with that.
When it comes to women,
yeah. Submit to your husband. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I don't want to hold on to.
The reason why, Mr. Borden, the reason why the devil went to Eve.
Where did this devil come from? And where is he? Can you take me to him?
Mr. Dexter.
Where can we take me to this devil that you keep talking about? You want to defend God, you need to take me to him. I want to meet him.
Dexter, don't be ignorant, please.
That's not being ignorant. I'm being realistic. I'm not being pretentious nor superstitious like you. I'm being real. Take me to him, because that's the only way I would ever know is when I'm alive. I won't know anything about him when I'm dead. I won't be able to meet him when I'm dead.
With that, though, and thanks, Colin, sure. Promise, Mr. Dexter, as I listen to you, these are where we as a people sometimes get into unnecessary conflict, whatever it is, because
people want to defend something that they can't defend.
Sometimes our inability or unwillingness to be able to rationalize and reason. And I think as we move, we look at examples of behaviors. Companies see another company and they say we should model it that way as a benchmark. Maybe we don't live a certain way to be the example that we should. And the relationship, I think, is a personal one, and it's a personal walk, and we come to it on our own terms.
But people can think all they want, but my issue with religion and believing in Christianity and all that stuff is I'm a physical human being. Okay, I live in a physical world. I have to see it, smell it, hear it, taste it, feel it. If none of those senses are able to register those things, I can't believe in that.
So for you, seeing is believing, touching and tasting.
I have to be able to see it. I have to be able to communicate with it.
Right. Like the caller before, just as an example, is real to him. He has experienced something.
If some people go around talking and saying that some they hear somebody talking to them, that they want to put them in the institution. Right. In the mental institution. Right. But these people are constantly talking about God told them this and God told, and they're the only ones that heard him. I've never, and I've been many places, many dark and lonely, destitute and secluded places, alone, and not skeptical about doing that at any point in time in my life and in my heaven on this earth.
Yeah. Have you ever, if I'm not being too personal, certainly not trying to be disrespectful, in those times, whether you're in a crowd or whether you're alone, have you called on the Jesus we talk about?
Never in my life. Never.
Yeah.
I have never once yet invoked that I hope God does anything for me. Never once. And I don't see myself needing to do that. Okay. The only thing I can look to get anything done in my life are other people. That's all I can rely on. My fellow humans. I'm a humanist. I believe in humans. You know what I appreciate about humans? The fact that humans have sacrificed so much over the millions of years of our recorded history. They've sacrificed so much of themselves in their time, in their life, in their families and everything else to try to discover things to help other humans that they didn't even know of. No. There was no horticulturist or pharmacist or whatever they may be classified as, or chemist that realized that Dexter Bond would need an aspirin one day to ease a headache, and go ahead and work to see what he could do to discover that or to create that. But it's there available to me. If I get a headache, I can go take 2 aspirin that a human made possible for me. If I could lay down or kneel down and pray all I want to God, if I don't take something that some other man made to fix my ill, then I'm not going to get any results. So what's the point in believing in something that can't do anything physically to help you when you need help? Look at Sri Lanka just the other day. How many 320-something people I heard was the last total I heard killed in a church or several churches? Where's God? He's not reaching down and neutralizing those terrorists to keep them from igniting an explosive to kill his people. What's the purpose? What's the use in worshiping something that can't actually physically do something for you? It's only in your mind, and you're going to meet him one day when you're dead. What sense? How can people be logical and sensible and believe that? It just makes no sense to me.
Okay, but
absolutely no sense.
For those who believe otherwise, I mean, that's your view. Are you accepting of those that believe otherwise?
I have no problem. They can believe that all they want. Keep it to yourself. Keep it to you, and don't go down to the legislature and try to tell me that you're going to make laws based on what you get out of some book that some man wrote thousands of years ago. But that has no relevance to what's going on in 2019.
Is then the passage of laws sort of to reflect the norms, values, and mores of a society? So if the society believes this thing, if this is the consensus of a society, take for instance drinking and driving. We have a law against that, presumably because at some point society said, that's not the way to be driving under influence. So laws pass to reflect the views, the majority views, the consensus,
and the potential to do harms to many other people as well as yourself.
Right.
So there's reasons for that, yeah.
Right. And this is where I think as we have these discussions, hopefully we become accepting, and that we look at the ills, whether it's perceived as this, or this, that we do it. Hopefully we can have those publicly through our examples, be able to edify others, be able to not just inform them, but be ourselves encouraged by it. Too many times we get caught up into the rhetoric and then we lose sight of the relationship. It's a challenging world, eh?
Yes, sir, it is.
I don't know. But for that, though, I think that there are many of us who probably don't know as much as we could and shouldn't be able to help. But like we look to example to the human as well as to others. For you, it's a walk as it is for all of us, right?
It's a walk, and my walk is a walk among my fellow human beings, and that's all I can look to. I got injured. They sent some people in an ambulance, put me on a stretcher, and drove me to the hospital that other humans built for that purpose. And the nurses and the doctors there received me happily and quickly.
Did a great job.
And gave me some sedatives to put me to sleep. They killed me, put me to sleep where I didn't know. And they did everything in the world to me. I had no idea what they did to me. I heard nothing. I felt nothing. I knew nothing.
You're still alive, but they took care of you.
And then they gave me something else to bring me back around that humans made, No, God didn't provide that. Humans came up with that. I'm a humanist, darling.
Yeah,
I believe in people, and without people, ain't nothing happening on this earth. The kudzu and the dogs and the cats and the iguanas would take over.
Yeah.
Nothing else. And as far as me having some God that made me, my mother and father did that. If any other man had come in that room that night, my old man wouldn't have allowed that. I guarantee you. That would not have happened. Yeah. There was nobody else in that room. And had it been a different man than my father or a different woman than my mother, I wouldn't be here at all.
Right. I've had the chance to listen to your perspective, and we all have to be, as you shared, looking at it. And for some, we find our path, and as we're convicted, and as you're adamant with where we are. It's about living and let live.
Only get one life to live, boo.
Maybe.
And one love to give, and that's all I got.
Yeah.
And I don't expect to get anywhere else than right here in this heaven.
Well, sometimes we get what we deserve. Thank God, sometimes we get more. But for you, I think as you're still young, right? And you still have.
I guess.
Yeah, man.
And that's another thing.
Yeah.
I'm 61. There was a time when the life expectancy for humans were maybe 30. And I think it was because life was so miserable. It was so hard, so much hardship that some people just resigned themselves to the fact, man, I can't take any more of this. I'd just rather die. Now we've got all of the luxuries and the technologies and the transportation systems and the transportation mechanisms and space machines and all kinds of things that humans discovered and took dirt from the earth. I mean, when you think about it, they talk about God took dirt and made man. No. It's the man took dirt and made all of our lives better. That's what happened.
Yeah, man. And it's, I think as we live and walk amongst each other, perhaps we can find ways to not only to be good examples, but hopefully to encourage, and we find our path.
And I would like to see the abolition of religion myself. I would like to see religion abolished from the face of the earth, honestly. Yeah. I would love to see the day that people would teach their children to just be good human beings.
So relationship.
And be good without having to be afraid that if you're not good, that you're going to perish in hell, which doesn't happen. Is another problem with that system. I hate to think that somebody can do any kind of atrocity against their fellow humans, and then all they got to do is go and find a preacher and pray and pray and ask God to forgive them, and all is forgiven. I can't take a system where that's possible.
But that's probably not how. Well, in my mind, that's how.
But that's how they perceive it. And then there's another issue of I've heard people come on your show on many occasions and say that they would like to see us go back to the Bible. We got to get back to the church. And then I said, well, have you been to Northwood Prison or Fairbanks Prison and polled the population of those places of the red-blooded Caymanians that are locked up in there and asked them what they believe in? Why are they in there? What do they believe in? What makes you think that the church is such a hindrance to people committing crime against their fellow humans? That doesn't do anything.
So from what you're sharing, the religion out, but the relationships then is probably what you're looking at.
What we need.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, it is something that we look at the world religions and we see many similarities, but we see the challenges you shared.
Because it's just too much conflict, Sterling,
Yeah.
and beliefs. Too much differences of opinions, and no one has any true answers. No one.
Well, I like many. Maybe you're like many. We're seeking answers, and for me, just for me, not gonna throw it on you. People stop and they think and they reflect. Some people meditate. I pray, and I get answers. That's just my little. I don't know if you want to call it a secret. That's how I do it. I'm looking at a particular financial problem and trying to figure out the answer. A little quiet time, it happens. I'm trying to figure out how to a recipe. Everybody has a system that works. And I think you're right. Sometimes we throw things on people without being sufficiently respectful, without being sufficiently informed. And end of the day, we all want to walk that good path, right? We come to it. You share your experiences. I understand your perspective. For some, they would say, "Wow, that was a miracle." You would say, "Well, that's man." We get there together. All right, Mr. Dexter?
Yeah.
All right. Now, as you head up to the Pines, hopefully you'll extend their apologies to them for detaining you.
Will do.
And you'll enjoy the afternoon. Either in song or in word or both. What closing thoughts you want to leave with us?
Well, in words, I'd like to say that I want my Caymanian people and people wherever they're listening to us here today, and to let everyone know that I, Dexter Bodden, as a human being, I am quite satisfied and happy to know that I am a part of this great experience called human existence, and I need not look anywhere else for anything else, because I'm satisfied to know that I am part of one unique experience in this universe that can't find anywhere else. And people need to stop and accept that, realize that you are one unique entity within this whole big picture of this thing we call life. And when you stop and realize that, you don't need to look for anything else anywhere. You are a part of one magnificent experience. That's my opinion.
Some would say that in itself is, proves positives, but anyway. Mr. Dexter, together we'll find our way. All right? And you there to have it.
So that's it?
That's it, Mr. Dexter.
Are we done?
Are we done?
I guess so.
You willing to come back at some point?
Whenever you call me, brother.
If I call you, answer, right?
Be happy to.
Mr. Claris say no cash, no splash. You call that hall?
No worry about that.
Dexter, if you don't mind me saying, I believe that as we try to lead a good life and set an example, as Vita always tells us, by their fruits you shall know them. Maybe we look to people for encouragement, and for those who are sincere in their pursuits, we'll find that there is success beyond the financial, and not pursue just the material wealth, but find a relationship. I trust and pray, Mr. Dexter, you continue to find joy and peace.
Will do.
All right.
Are we done?
Yes. So, all right. Yeah. And to our listeners, come back tomorrow for more talk today right after the midday news and midday meditation. We're working on something. We'll see how we can connect up with the callers, use the technology that we seem to have been able to leverage. It is a wonderful place. Are we making it better? Hopefully we are. Until tomorrow, be blessed.
Cayman invites our listeners to join us on Sunday, April 28th for a live broadcast from the Little Cayman Baptist Church. Radio Cayman will bring the local morning worship service live starting at 11 a.m. on 89.9 FM and 93.9 on the Bra and Little Cayman. Radio Cayman, celebrating 43 years of service to you, the people of the Cayman Islands.
Did you know protecting Cayman Lands Environment has always been at the forefront of plans for the cruise berthing facility. Government commissioned an environmental impact assessment at the start of the project, which confirmed there will be no damage to 7 Mile Beach.
Looking forward, looking bright.
Learn more and spread the word.
Support our port, support our tourism.
After all that talk, sit back, relax. Easy listening on the way. You're listening to Susan on the PM Show, Radio Cayman.